G'day legends, we've got so much to go through in today's news video leading into UFC 317. I nearly said 217. Leading into 317, we've got Justin Gaethje whinging that he wants to fight for a title next, or it's nothing else. We have got a fighter from UFC 317 being pulled from the card because his ankle monitor won't allow him to get close enough to the cage, and we've got the colored commentator of the UFC being hunted down by a cracked out homeless influencer that wants to beat the living hell out of him. We are so back, ladies and gentlemen. This is just coming 2 days after Jon Jones has given up his belt. He's been retired at the exact same time as there is a naked prostitute in his car with no pants on, and the news footage has been released. The phone call has been released from the police where you can clearly tell it's Jon Jones threatening violence towards the police. We're back. We're back, MMA 2025. We were in the dumps a couple of weeks ago, but now everything is just firing on all cylinders. Madness in the news. UFC 317 is actually a stacked card that's going to be fun to watch. Entitled fighters that think they deserve more than they absolutely deserved. This is peak MMA right now. We are flying high. The ups and downs of this sport are bloody believable. Let's get right into it. Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje has doubled down. He said, I am waiting for the winner of Ilya versus Charles Oliveira. That's who I want next. I'm not fighting anybody else. Classic Justin Gaethje. This was an interview that he did on MMAfighting.com, and let's just jump over to Justin Gaethje's Tapology real quick, shall we? Justin Gaethje. Now, first of all, note that he's 36 years old. He's going to be 37 in November, and we know how the UFC... I've just kicked something. That's all right. We know how the UFC are with setting up their title contenders. They want to give someone a title shot who has a chance of being a champion for, a little while so they can actually get some pay-per-view points out of them. Justin Gaethje is absolutely towards the end of his run. No wonder he's screaming that he wants a title shot so badly. He's going to be 37 in November. Now, what's his win-loss at? Okay, he beat Tony Ferguson. Very well done. He beat Tony Ferguson to become the interim champ, and then lost it to Khabib Nurmagomedov in 2020. Then he goes and beats Michael Chandler, right? Now, Michael Chandler, whose best win in the UFC is Dan Hooker during the big lockdown, where, if you remember this, there was a time where Dan Hooker was in quarantine for 77 days because Dan Hooker was trying to stay active, and the island that Dan Hooker lives on completely locked him out of it. So, that's Michael Chandler's best win. And then, of course, there's Tony Ferguson, who Michael Chandler was losing the first round to. But that's all right. Justin Gaethje got his win. He got his win over Michael Chandler. Then he goes and gets a loss to Charles Oliveira. Then he has the Rafael Fiziev fight in 2023, which I maintain to this day. Fiziev won that fight. Dustin Poirier knocked him out. Clean win. Clean win. You can't say anything bad about that win. That's a clean win for Justin Gaethje. Then he goes and fights Max Holloway. Does a favor to the UFC. Max Holloway absolutely sleeps him in one of the greatest nights of nights at UFC 300, and Justin Gaethje gets a win over quick turnaround Rafael Fiziev. Now, I know this might seem crazy to the MMA fighters out there. I know, us YouTubers, what do we know? How dare we talk about something that we don't do? Joe Pyfer, I see you seeing me. I see you watching the channel, Joe Pyfer. All right, I've mentioned your name. The alert's gone out on the internet. The Pyfer signal's gone up. Someone said his name. Now, I know we're not allowed to say this, but in my sport, I like to see teams or fighters go on more than a one-fight win streak. Like if these fighters are teams and this is an actual sport and these belts are the championships, yeah, I'd like to see teams go on more than a one-win streak before they can compete to see who's the best in the world. Especially when Arman Tsarukyan is right there, and if he makes 155 pounds this weekend as the backup fighter, then it goes to prove that Arman Tsarukyan can hit 155 pounds, and he should be the next in line. When Paddy Pimblett, as curated as his win streak has been, when Paddy Pimblett is on a win streak, and you're the ex-number one contender who has had a bit of a rocky go, maybe you should be putting together a bit of a win streak as well, Justin Gaethje. There's no reason at all that we can't do Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje. There's no reason at all. I don't want the UFC sitting around resting Paddy Pimblett like they rested Sean O'Malley. Remember that when they rested Sean O'Malley for an entire year after the Piotr Jan fight just to get the quick turnaround against Aljamain Sterling? Yeah? Sean O'Malley fights Piotr Jan in October of 2022, and then he fights Aljamain Sterling in August of 2023. The UFC just rested him, so he was as fresh as possible. That's what happens when you get real Dana White privilege. And I pray to God that we don't get that sort of Dana White privilege for Paddy Pimblett, because it seems like that is the trajectory that the UFC have him on. So let's just make Paddy versus Justin Gaethje. And as for the 36-year-old Justin Gaethje, if he doesn't want to take any fights except for the title fight, there's the door. Honestly, there's the door. This is the UFC lightweight division. Lightweight and welterweight. These are the two busiest divisions in the world. Average human height and weight puts you around lightweight or welterweight, and then you get the genetic freaks on each side. The short little Mighty Mouses, the giant Francis Ngannous. But the center of the pack is lightweight and welterweight. We don't need Justin Gaethje, man. We don't need I love Gaethje. I love him. But the UFC needs to stop this culture of rewarding fighters on one-fight win streaks. That's how you end up with entitled princesses like Yair Rodriguez and Cyril Gane. We don't need it, mate. So you tell Justin Gaethje you'll fight Paddy Pimblett, or there's the door. And by the way, we have you under contract, so good luck going and getting those fun influencer boxing fights for the next 4 years, mate. And let's just say that the absolute unthinkable should happen to us, the Australians. Let's say Islam Makhachev defeats JDM somehow, and then sees Ilia Topuria down there and decides that he wants to move down to fight Ilia Topuria. I don't think this is what's going to happen, but imagine if this is where we are going in the timeline, right? You've got Islam Makhachev versus Ilia Topuria. Then you got Paddy Pimblett sitting there in the wings. Then you got Arman Tsarukyan sitting there in the wing. You have got a backup happening at lightweight if that happens. There's already a bit of a backup happening at lightweight already. Like, Max Holloway just slept you, Justin Gaethje, at lightweight. I know we had the Ilia Topuria incident down at featherweight, but as for lightweight and Max Holloway, he just slept you, Justin Gaethje. If he goes in there against Dustin Poirier, and this is another knock on wood case of events, but if he goes in there against Dustin Poirier a month after International Fight Week and sleeps Dustin Poirier impressively, the UFC is sold on holy shit moments. That puts Max Holloway ahead of you. As far as the race for the lightweight title goes, Gaethje, Paddy Pimblett is ahead of you purely because he's got more wins in a row. Some people out there aren't going to like that, but he's got more wins in a row than Justin Gaethje does, yeah? Arman Tsarukyan is ahead of Justin Gaethje by merely being the number one contender. He is the number one contender. Max Holloway impresses against Dustin Poirier. He leapfrogs in front of Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje is saying, I'm going to sit around and wait for my title shot, when there's a real possibility that he's fourth in line without Islam Makhachev even moving back down to fight Ilia Topuria. This is insanity from Justin Gaethje. Absolute insanity. Now, next bit of news. We're so back. I've seen people's prediction videos this week. Some of them don't know whether or not this is a joke. Some of them don't know whether or not this is a troll. I thought it was a troll when I first saw it. Cedric Demas can't fight at UFC 317 because his ankle monitor isn't approved by the Athletic Commission. I'm kidding. Because his ankle monitor hasn't got the right sponsorships on it. Yeah, it says Nevada State Police. It doesn't say crypto.com on it. His ankle monitor, he can't cut the weight with the ankle monitor still on him. He doesn't hit the right weight. It's too heavy. He can't have it at a catch weight. Thank you, live chat, for all of these jokes. I appreciate all of you guys. No, this is legit. Cedric Demas can't fight at UFC International Fight Week because of his 17th crime that he's committed. He's now wearing an ankle monitor, and a judge, for some reason, won't remove his ankle monitor for the fight. They just don't trust him to not make it 18 in a row. For some reason, he went, "Oi, judge, can I get this ankle monitor off? I know it's been 17 times, mate, but I swear to God, this time, the only thing that I'm going to do is get into a punch-on legally in the cage." And the judge went, "For some reason, mate, I don't believe you." What is this sport? Why is he on UFC 317? I've been saying this all week, ever since I saw his name pop up on the roster for UFC 317. Why is he still in the UFC? Beyond that, not only why is he still in the UFC, why is he still out in public? He's domestic abuse, breaking and entering, 17 arrests. Why is he even wearing an ankle monitor? You know, why isn't he in O Block? I'm not kidding. This part isn't a joke. Why is this man not in prison? I said it in yesterday's prayer video. I've been screaming it from the rooftops during the live streams. Why is Cedric Dumas not in a cell? It is so bizarre to me. So bizarre to me. I don't get it. And lastly, a crackhead, formerly known as the Liver King, is chasing down Joe Rogan. So the Liver King, the Liver King, ever since he got busted for doing steroids, obviously this dude was doing steroids, seems to be going down the path of crackhead. He's covered in leaves. His face is all scratched up. His mouth is just soaked in blue or purple. I think that's lean to the kids, to the crackhead kids. I think it's called lean. But he's clearly on drugs. And and he's flown down to Austin after releasing videos saying that he wants to get into a street grappling match to defend the honor of his family with Joe Rogan. What has this got to do with MMA? Joe Rogan is the commentator at International Fight Week. He is being chased down and hunted by this homeless crackhead. This sport is wild, mate. This sport is absolutely wild. And apparently, it's because of terroristic threats, which I have been watching these Liver King videos, trying to figure out what has he said that is a terroristic threat. It is literally just... a terroristic threat is a threat to commit a crime of violence. That's it. Sorry, let me bring this a little bit more. That's it. A terroristic threat is a threat to commit a crime of violence. This is why YouTubers and people on the internet need to say, let's march on the UFC Apex in Minecraft, on Grand Theft Auto Online. Because when you listen to these videos of what the Liver King has been saying, it's like, all right, you're saying you're gonna get into a fight with Joe Rogan, but you better watch out, Joe Rogan, because I'm 270 pounds. He says that, by the way, because I'm 270 pounds. I'm not gonna do the whole, when are these big muscled up guys gonna learn that you need to actually know some technique? You can't just muscle your way through jiu-jitsu, because the Liver King is clearly not in his right mind. That's a branch. That's a branch. These are scars all over his face. There's a... He looks like he's been crawling through the parks of the city, and as the sun hits the syringe, he's like, "What's that?" And he's just digging himself like through, like someone through the tunnels. He's just digging himself through the tunnels, looking for that syringe, and he comes out the other side of the bush. Where's Joe Rogan? Where is that guy? I'm gonna snap his arms. I'm gonna fight for my family. This is what it's just. Oh my god. So threats of violence are terroristic threats, and the Liver King wants Joe Rogan to break his arms and submit him, or he's going to kill Joe Rogan because he has to defend his family, because Joe Rogan said that the Liver King is mentally unstable. And quite frankly, I don't see where Joe gets the gumption, the gupta. I don't see where he's got the chutzpah to say a man like this is unstable mentally. I mean, if you want to question this man's mental stability, what world are you sitting in, mate? What high horse are you sitting on? You've never had a wild Saturday night and come home looking like this? Yeah? Haven't trimmed your beard in a couple of weeks, got scratches all over your face, wearing your favorite black hoodie? Trust me, mate. We've all been there, son. We've all had a bad night out. I've been there. We've all been there. We've all been there. This ain't. What has Joe Rogan got against the Liver King? Let him go, I say. Let him go. Arrest Cedric Dumas. But this is just talking. This is just harmless fun. No, I don't know what's happened to the Liver King. I don't know. I didn't follow his career that closely, but he's gone to Austin to look for Joe Rogan, and the police have gone too far. Too far. He's crawled out of the bushes in front of the police station, leaned up in the mouth, covered in scars, and the police have gone, nah, that's enough. So UFC 317 International Fight Week. Justin Gaethje isn't fighting until he gets a title shot. He's like 4 places behind. Good riddance. Cedric Dumas can't fight on the card. because of a ankle monitor. And the Liver King is hunting Joe Rogan. We're so back. 2 days after John Jones has had charges dropped in against him from the police are looking for him, and we heard the audio. That was 100% John Jones. That was 100% John Jones, as he left a pantsless prostitute in a car high off mushrooms. I love this sport. I love this sport. It just gives and gives and gives. Anyway, that's it for today's video. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Dougie. I make an MMA video every single day of the week, and I try and go live at least 3 times a week. Hit that subscription button down there so you know when I go live, or so you know when I drop a new video. Leave a comment down there. What's been your favorite part of this week? Genuinely, what has been your favorite part of this week? Put it down there in the comments. Leave a like if you can't be bothered commenting anything. Even that helps grow the channel so much. If you're one of the paying members of the channel, I thank you sincerely. Your names are up on the next slide. And until then, I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good day.